I'm at this to the front of the video, so let's talk about it. So we have the Tokyo Game Show 2025 within the next couple of days. Chaos Zero Nightmare, Smilegate are going to be there, of course, with their other game. It is going to be there. They could potentially release when the game is going to be coming out at the Tokyo Game Show. If there is a time to do it, I do think it would be there. But keep in mind, we do have an announcement, of course, in the Chaos Zero Nightmare official Discord, talking about feedback, dev update, and all that good stuff coming in early October. So, hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's going to line up. Maybe they could actually just tease the official release date here. But I'm assuming it depends on the feedback they are going to be getting in terms of really they want to adjust pushing it back or not. Because again, right now we have no confirmation, no real confirmation, should I say, in terms of the actual game coming out. Again, if you go look at the App Store, it does say like October 12th, I think. But again, there is no official confirmation. So again, we should potentially find out within the next couple of days. And again, this is just going to be the novelty and event, and then we do have the good old stage going on. So again, Saturday is the day, and then Sunday we do have all this stuff as well. So again, overall, maybe we find out something. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not really expecting anything from this, but again, speculation. Speculation. I am expecting the game to potentially come out at the end of the year. I don't really think it's going to be October. I think polish it a little bit, take the feedback we are giving, especially when you watch my video, you will see that there are some things I do need working on, right? But other than that, I just want to add this in front of the video just to talk about it because, again, a little speculation. Hey, we may find out soon, boys. Like I said, it's either going to be Tokyo Game Show or it should be either early October, right? But we'll find out. But other than that, though, thank you so much for the video. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I don't know why I said that, right? There's another video popping up right after this, so hopefully you enjoy it. Welcome back, everybody, back into this. Today we're going to be talking about Chaos Zero Nightmare and its playtest beta. Limited playtime, right? If you got into it, hopefully you enjoyed it. But before we get into that, let's talk about the game briefly. Now, it is going to be Smilegate's own version of Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact. Those are pretty much how they're going to be handling this game, especially once we do get into the gacha system, right? If you know how that gacha works in those games, well, guess what? It literally just works the exact same thing here, which is kind of a problem. Kind of a problem. But again, it is another Smilegate game. Very, very nice to see. And again, since it is another Smilegate, you can best believe it is a very, very polished game. Now, I will say this, it is going to be chibi. If you did not watch any gameplay video I uploaded, again, I didn't upload much. I could not have played much as I really wanted to. But from what I uploaded, it is going to be chibi. You may be a cup of tea, it may not, but I do know that may discourage people right away just seeing chibi. It is also very, very similar to Blue Archive as well, right? It's a mixture of like Blue Archive and Genshin Impact and Star Rail. That's literally like the best example I can give, right? So let's get into it. Now again, my first impressions, overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. I love the game, but there are obviously some flaws. That is why this is a limited playtest beta. They want to get our opinions, and hopefully they can take that back and fix said problems. But again, I do give it a 7 out of 10. It is very, very polished, I will say that. Animations are very, very clean. It definitely did not feel like a playtest beta. It literally feels like the full-on game almost at this point. But overall, it felt very, very good. Really, really good. I have very little complaints, but I think the complaints are pretty big, right? Which is why I am only ranking like a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10 from my overall experience of the game. Now let's get right into it. So my first complaint is going to be, or I do recommend they should fix, is going to be the gacha system. The gacha system is going to be a 50-50. That sucks. No one likes a 50-50. And especially in a PvE game, I'm going to be honest, 50-50s, get that out of here. I really don't like that. I know a lot of people don't like that as well. If they were to just copy Epic 7's, pity, 120, I'm fine with that. I messed with it. 120 pity, and I get the character I want. Hey, I may have to skip some characters, but completely understandable. Because again, we have no idea in terms of how they really want to release characters. But we do know there are going to be limited characters because they already have limited currency. So, knowing that, I'm going to have to be careful. Be careful, right? Because there is going to be such thing as limited characters. So again, keep that in mind. Now, How they really want to fix that? Again, I would really just recommend scrapping the whole 50-50. They already stand out enough, in my opinion, to be different from all the other games, just from the aesthetics and the art style they went down the route of. They can definitely mess with the gacha system just a little bit. Because again, I don't really blame them for doing this. I completely understand, because I know a PvE game has to make money somehow, and it's going to be with the gacha system. But again, having a pity will still give you a lot of money. Trust me, it will give you a lot of money still, Smilegate. So keep that in mind, hopefully, right? Now, let's talk about the next topic. It is going to be the cards and UI in general. Now, the cards descriptions did not really give the clearest idea of what some cards do. Some stuff have buffs. Some cards have buffs that you have no idea what it does unless you actually go through a weird route of actually go clicking on your top left, I guess. I think at this point, yeah, it is going to be your top left, and that is the only way you're going to find out buffs. If they were to tell me what the buff actually does when I'm actually holding the card and looking at it, that would be absolutely insane. Because again, a lot of these cards inside the game, some are clear, some are clearer than others, but some are definitely not clear, and I have literally no idea what it means on quite a bit. So hopefully they can fix that. That's really about my only biggest problem when it comes to the UI and the cards. Some of them are clear, some are not. They can easily just fix that by making it more simpler, I guess, and just adding more descriptions to the side of the card. Now, it may look a little cluttered, but I don't know how else they can really go about fixing the whole card situation when it comes to having cards have some buffs and all that. And if you don't know what the buff does, well, then what are you going to do, right? So again, I definitely want them to fix that as well. And again, the next thing will be story. Again, I like story. I liked it quite a bit. But again, it does need a little bit tweaking and all that. But again, I am fully under the impression that this is a beta. And I am fully expecting some of it to be completely out of the story. I am expecting the story to be quite different when it actually does come out. I'm expecting some cutscenes, some animations on all the good stuff. Again, I made a whole video about the animations just recently. I'm going to go check that out. Go check it out. But overall, in terms of the story area, I like it, but it just needs a little tweaking. Just a little tweaking. But besides those main three topics, there's really not that many other problems besides those three. Those three are like the biggest. There are some little ones about the break feature, the stress levels and all that, where it's really not, there's no good way to really get rid of stress. But again, like I did say, this is a playtest beta. So, bro, I'm taking this with a grain of salt, that they probably have some of these things already implemented, but they're waiting for the full game to be released to actually fix some of these problems. But again, we'll see. We'll see, because I will say, the stress, once you get that stress break, and you are pretty much locked. Yeah, some games I'm able to recover, but man, oh man, there was a time in the chaos zones, I would just keep getting, one character would keep getting broken over and over and over and over, and it was very, very rough until I just completely just lost. That's how it would happen, right? So hopefully they do have a way to fix the stress much better, because right now there's no really clear way to really fix it while you're actually doing the story, or just, you know, just playing the missions in general, right? But maybe that's their intention. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it is going to be their intention of doing that. Now, let's move on to the next topic. Next topic, and I think will be the final one, is how are they going to handle community feedback? Now, we know, obviously, there's another Smilegate game, but my biggest concern is how are they going to handle community feedback. Now, this is strictly a PvE game. Let's look what happened in Epic 7. Epic 7, we got some hard PvE content. But guess what? That hard PvE content is now non-existent and nerfed to the floor because of said community complaining that it's too hard, and then therefore Smilegate went around and nerfed it and made it completely easy. If they are going to do that inside Chaos Zero Nightmares, it is going to be causing a problem, especially since the game is literally only PvE. So hopefully, they do not follow the trend of nerfing hard PvE content. Keep it the way it is. I love that. I know a lot of people like it as it's actually hard PvE content, and you actually need to use some brain, sadly, right? You have to use some brain to play this game. But yes, keep in mind, if they were to follow E7s, I think it's going to be a disaster in terms of how they nerf. But if it's not, and they completely ignore the whole, when people complain about PvE content being too hard, then I think it's gonna be good. But again, I completely understand if something is literally unbeatable. I completely understand that. I do understand that. But again, this game is strictly PvE content, and since it's strictly only PvE, they can't nerf stuff. They could nerf characters, I could understand nerfing characters, but you could actually not nerf the content itself because there's nothing else. There's no PvP. It is strictly just PvE content. So hopefully they stay true to this, stick to it, and just keep it going. But other than that, overall, that's gonna be my impressions on Chaos Zero Nightmare. Overall, again, I'm pleasantly surprised, more surprised than I thought would be. Again, the rating is a little bit lower than it does sound like I do. You know, it sounds much lower than how I've been talking about it, but I really enjoyed it. All right, the gacha system, the card descriptions, and the story did take a big hit to the ranking numbers because, again, some of this stuff they can definitely fix very, very easily. It's just more of would they, and then the card descriptions, that's important. That's important, especially the entire game is revolving around cards. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you did play the playtest beta or if you are going to play it. Again, I will be uploading content on this game. I will be covering the game. But other than that, though, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you guys later on. Peace out.